Okay, we're there. So welcome to this mindful yoga session. We will start with a sitting practice, and I've got another mudra for us, another hand gesture if you want to have a go at this one. This one's quite simple. We're just joining the little fingers together, little finger to little finger, and then ring finger to ring finger, and all the other fingers are spreading away. And then ideally we're holding this mudra just in front of the belly. If that feels like that's too much in the arms or across the shoulders, you could just let it rest on your lap. And if any of that feels too much in the fingers, of course, you can just release and let the hands come to rest. This mudra is called Dvimukha mudra, which is in English would be two faces. And it balances the water and earth elements, which are the two chakra points here in the base and the solar plexus. It benefits our kidneys, which are obviously around the back of this area. It improves our memory, which I definitely need a bit more of. It can calm the mind, which I thought would be helpful for this time, and it soothes the belly. And equally helpful for this time, it activates the body's self-healing capacity and can evoke feelings of devotion and purity of heart. So yeah, the reason I chose it for today was around calming the mind, improving the body's self-healing capacity, and kind of developing that purity of heart. All helpful for this strange and difficult and unknown pandemic times. So choosing how you'd like to be with it, if at all, and then coming to a comfortable sitting posture with the spine lifted, the shoulders slightly rolling back and down, the head finding its place, maybe tucking in the chin so that the head feels more lightly balanced at the top of the spine. And then you might like to close the eyes or have a soft gaze forwards and down, just dropping the eyeballs down. And then taking a moment to pause and check in the same way that we might do with a friend, checking in and asking them how they are, listening to what they say. We can do that now with ourselves, pausing and checking into how we are, listening and feeling into what the body is saying. How does this body feel as a whole, kind of energetic feel of the body right now? If you've just fairly recently woken up like I have, then you might still be feeling a bit sluggish and tired, or maybe that's a kind of mood that we're in at the moment, a bit of listlessness and heaviness. Or if you've been awake for a long time, or you might notice the body feeling a bit more kind of alive and zingy. And then we can also check in with the different parts, the joints, the muscles, bones, the connective tissue, just whatever we notice physically in the body right now. Maybe there's a kind of tightness or pulling around the shoulder girdle or into the neck. Maybe there's something noticeable lower down in the knees or the feet, hips, back of the body. Just taking a moment to check in and explore it. It might be something that is there often, but what does it feel like today? Is there a shape or a colour, a movement or a stillness? temperature to it. And in the same way, checking in with the thoughts as they pass through the mind. What's the kind of quality and texture there right now? Again, they might be similar to thoughts to other days. Might be thoughts that come round and around again, but what's it like right now? The kind of texture and the volume, the feel of those thoughts. And any emotions that might be here. Sometimes kind of brought in with a thought, but sometimes here just on their own. It might be a pleasant emotion, it might be more unpleasant, or maybe something fairly neutral. But all of these emotions point to something, so all welcomed. And maybe with the emotions we can explore more where they're felt in the body, how and where they're felt in the body. And then when we're ready, let's come to the breath. Perhaps feeling the breath in those 3 points that we've connected with in previous sessions, the lower torso, lower belly, tail and sacrum at the back, the middle where the ribs kind of grow out from, and the upper heart space and shoulder blades. So maybe just taking a few breaths now into those 3 points. Maybe all 3 points together, or you might need to breathe into one of those places a bit more than the other. Just as you wish, following the breath in and out as best you can, filling and emptying all the way through to the back of the body. And then the last bit of this practice is widening the awareness out to the whole body sitting here. The feel of the skin around your body. Maybe noticing different textures that your skin is in contact with. Layers of clothing, the warm or cool air, the hair follicles on the head. And perhaps breathing a bit wider into that whole body space, filling up the whole body, emptying out from that whole body space. Maybe just widening the attention a little bit more to the space just around your body, just on the other side of your skin. Noticing how the body expands into that space as you breathe in and releases from that space as you breathe out. So we're not just limited by the layer of skin, there's this whole sharing of space. And then you might like to just gently release the hands down onto the lap. Just feel into how that was, having held that mudra. Another little scan, checking in, how is that now? And then we're just going to do a couple of moves of the head and the neck, just to ease into the top half of the body. So taking the head over to the right hand side. As you breathe in, the head arches up and over, the circle of the nose. As you breathe out, the head can drop down and around. So just a few of these head circles, as if you're drawing a circle with the tip of the nose. One more of those on that way round. And then let's go the other way. So starting with the head over to the left. Again, in breath takes us up and over, out breath down and around. And then releasing back to center. And we'll just bring the arms up into a soft fist. Hands into a soft fist. And if we start with them facing down, we'll start with the right one. So the right one's going to rotate up and the left one is going to rotate down. And we're turning our head to look at the upwards face, the right one, and then we can release and come across to the other side. So I tend to breathe in as I turn to look at the upwards wrist, release back to the center on the out breath, breathe in as I go the other way. So just see what your breath is doing. This action of wringing out the shoulder girdle. It's quite a small movement, but it's quite kind of powerful. And then if you want to add just a little bit more, keep the feet really planted, but just a little bit of a lean towards the upturned wrist where you're looking back to center with the torso, and then a lean to the other way. And then release, maybe just give the arms a shake. We'll just bring the hands onto the tops of the shoulders and circle the elbows around. They're coming forwards and then up and over. Again, one breath cycle, connecting with the circle of the elbows. Breathing in, breathing out. And then let's go the other way, coming forwards and down. And then if we can interlock the fingers and come to the back of the head, we've done this one in the last couple of weeks, bringing the head down and the elbows wrapping around the head. Maybe just have a breath in and a breath out here, and then next time you notice the breath coming in, the elbows start to open, the head either looks forwards or a little bit up, depending on how much you want to move, and then releases back on the out breath. So just a kind of unfurling of the top half of the body, and then a bit of a curling up. Maybe one more of those if that feels okay. And then releasing. Might like to just give arms and shoulders a bit of a shrug. Let's just breathe in and draw the shoulders up to the ears. And release. And once more. Great. Okay, we will pause and check in there. So let's come to standing. Ow. So standing with the feet in parallel, heels slightly out. And if you just give your hands and wrists a bit of a shake, we'll just start with a little bit of tapping, because I think that's always good for that chest area. So letting the fingers come up onto the top of the head, pitter-pattering around, maybe quite gently or maybe quite vigorously, whatever feels right for you in this moment. There's that place where the neck joins the base of the skull. Spend a few moments there, around the top of the ears, and then right up onto the top of the head, place where we maybe don't have much general sensation otherwise, feeling in there. And then we can come to the forehead, place just above the eyebrows, middle of the forehead, and the temples right out at the sides. And then if we bring our fingers to meet in the middle of the forehead and just have a little sweep out to the sides, just like your little bit of soothing sensation across the forehead. It's okay. Brushing away those sort of worries. And then if we come underneath the eyes to the cheekbones, you can feel the bottom of the eye sockets, the edges of your cheekbones, sides of the nostrils. And then similarly exploring around the mouth and the jaw, upper lips, upper jaw, out towards the ears, lower jaw and chin. And you might like to just open your mouth and maybe have a yawn or a sigh. Or if you're in the privacy of your own home, you could let out a sound, maybe a kind of sighing sound. Or even a scream. You could even do your let it out. And then let's give our hands a little rub and bring the palms of the hands over the eye sockets, leaving space for your nose so that you can breathe. Elbows just hanging down. Can we drop the elbows down a bit more heavily? And then just let the breath come and go. Again, you might like to have the lips a little bit apart so that you can breathe in through your nose, but then let the breath come out through the mouth. And each time we breathe out through the mouth, it's as if we're letting everything drop down into the heels. A couple of nice loose breaths like that. And then you can just give yourself a stroke down the face from the top to the bottom, off the bottom chin. And then if we can bring right hand up onto the left shoulder, you can support your elbow and just give yourself a really nice floppy pat on the back. You're doing the best you can under these trying circumstances, so a sense of, oh, well done. And then the same at the collarbone at the front. And then this chopping action, index finger down, little finger up, along the ridge of your shoulder and neck. And then we're coming back to tapping, letting go of the elbow and coming all the way down this left arm to the hand. Again, a bit of an encore. Well done, me. As we come back up, and then once more down the top of the arm, clap of the hand, and back up. And if we just move this arm out the way, then we can come to the rib cage on this side. Be really loose and floppy, and just really getting into all the ribs. And then just let go. Just give the arms perhaps just a little bit of a swing, like you're just throwing your hands away. Breath comes and goes. And then we're going to bring the left hand up onto the right shoulder. Can support the elbow here, and then the same thing, nice floppy pat on the back. And then at the front. And then turning the index finger side of your hand down, little finger up towards the ceiling. Chopping along the ridge of the neck and the shoulder. And then we come back to the patting, and we come down this right arm. The hand and back up. And again. And then just around the ribs on this side. Ribs actually go kind of quite low down. Maybe the ribs at the back, if you can reach. And then we can bring both hands onto the chest, either with flat hands, or if you want a bit more pummeling, you can change to the soft fists. And let's take 3 deep breaths in here while we're doing the chest. So taking a nice big breath all the way down to your feet. And then letting it out through the mouth. And again, filling up your boots with the breath. And once more. And then if we again come to the flat hands down the left hand side of the belly, I can't mirror this, up the right. So you're following your intestinal passage, descending colon, ascending colon, and then turning that into a rub around in a clockwise direction. And then we can turn, or I turn and show you the back, so just to either side of your spine, wherever you can reach, as high up, and then working down a few times. And then rubbing that as well. Up and down, around in circles. And then thumbs come inside, fingers around the thumbs. We're just going to lift and drop onto the buttocks somewhere, on the back or the sides, wherever the hands arrive. Nice and swingy in the arms. And then with cupped hands from the back to the front, buttocks, hips, pubic area, groins. And then down one leg, doesn't matter which, up and down one leg, back, sides and front, onto the foot if you can reach. And then give the knee a little rub on that side. And swap to the other leg, up and down. And knee on this side. And come back to standing, and we'll finish with that dusting through the body, dusting down through the body. So if you can let your hands just come up onto your head, stand nice and tall, almost like you're growing up into your hands. Take a nice big breath in, And then as you breathe out, just dusting down the body, down and off the feet, down and off the arms. And the head can be really helpful just to sweep off your head. Again, like you're just throwing it all away, all that unnecessary stuff. And then have a moment of hanging the body over. So either with the arms hanging down long, or you might like to hold the opposite elbows. Just let everything be loose. You can give your head and your neck a little shake. Arms, if they're hanging, could have a real jelly shake. And the back of the legs. Keep breathing. And then to come up, we're going to soften the knees a little bit forwards over the feet. That takes the pressure off the lower back. Take a nice breath in. And come back up to standing, uncurling so that the head comes up last. Right. So, let's then come to, I'm going to do this sideways, this position. So the knees are bending a bit over the feet. Our feet are in parallel, nice tram lines. And the palms of the hands are facing us, the forearms are facing us. And we're going to curl, so drawing the belly in, curling the spine over into this kind of real curled up hiding position. And then as I breathe in, I'm going to open arms, legs unbend, arms open wide, palms face forwards. So from the front it's breathing in, we've done this before. Breathing out, curling up. And you'll see how big and long the in-breath can be. Pause at the end of the in-breath, a little pause here, and then let the out-breath go. And then just wait for the next in-breath to come. Pause at the end of the in-breath, and then a real kind of deflating like a balloon. Let's do one more of those. And then just pause in this position so the legs are nice and long, right angles in the elbows. Take another breath in here. And then as we breathe out, palms facing backwards. So breath comes in, arms come up, breath comes out, arms come face backwards. One more of those, if that's okay. Great, and then give the arms a nice shake and the shoulders a nice roll. And then we'll come to a forward bend. So we'll start with the hands in this diamond shape at the back of the body, thumbs joining each other, index fingers joining, elbows out to the side. And again, with our feet in parallel, you might like to just lift the heels and have a little bounce. Letting the elbows really open out to the side, shoulder blades opening out to the side. So we've got very light heels. We're going to take a nice breath in. As we breathe out, the heels go down to the floor, the buttocks slide back over the heels, and the body hinges forwards. And then just see if you've got your knees locked. We often do. So just soften the knees, and then maybe you feel like the bottom can move back a little bit more. Then maybe you can grow the knees up into a more straight position. So we soften the knees, we move a little bit more, unbend the knees. And then can we take a few breaths into this lower back, place where your diamond is. Breathing in there, breathing out. And I would breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Really almost sending your breath out. And then from here we're going to let the arms come out level with the shoulders, or even a little bit above the shoulders. And you can maybe rotate the wrists or wriggle the fingers. And this time we're going to breathe into the mid-back. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe 3 breaths. And then let the palms of the hands come together and connect at the chest, breastbone, and you can almost open the chest into your thumbs. And breathe into that space between the shoulder blades. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Couple of breaths. And then to come up again, soft knees, tip the body back up as one. And we're going to let the arms come up into the air, shoulders stay down. Breath comes in, and then as we breathe out, we're pushing the walls away. And let the arms circle all the way round and back to the heart space. And we'll just have a few breaths into the whole back body, the lower point, the middle, the upper. Again, maybe breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Filling up the whole torso, lower, middle and upper. Great, and then release, maybe give the arms a bit of a shake, legs a bit of a shake. And then if we can bring the feet a little bit wider, so you might want to turn your mat sideways, still with the feet facing forwards, but just wide feet, wide legs. Again, bringing your hands into that space at the lower back with the diamond, and taking a breath in and being nice and tall. As we breathe out, I'm bending the right knee, so just letting the right knee bend directly forwards over the front foot. Breathing in, coming up nice and tall. Breathing out to the other side, and keeping the body upright as possible. It's almost like just the knee bends and there's a little bit of leaning to one side, but not bending forwards. Yeah, that's right. So come up and release the knee over to one side, come up, release the knee over to the other. And then let's rotate the feet out so that each foot is about 45-degree angle outwards. And then we'll do the same thing again. So a sense of breathing in, coming up, breathing out, knee going a bit more diagonally over one side. Coming up, over to the other side. You can go a bit further now with the feet rotated out. Do one more of those on each side. And then come back up to standing. Just do we can stay with the hands in this position, but just do a little bit of easing through the feet. So if you can lift the heel of the right foot, body's just staying in the middle, and then lower the heel of the right foot and lift the toes and the ball of that foot. So kind of up onto the toes and ball, back onto the heel. Just feel what that's like, getting into the groins. And then come across to the other side, lifting the heel. So you're up on the ball, replacing the heel, lifting the toes. Sort of like you're rocking through the sole of your foot. Great. Okay, and release. And then let's start with stepping the right foot forward, left foot back. So we're now in a bit of a lunge, a bit like we would be for our warrior poses. And let's do the same thing with the foot in this position. So lifting the right heel, replacing, lifting the toes, just seeing what it's like coming forwards, that rocking through the sole of the right foot. And then letting the toes be spread and the knee come over the heel. And we'll start with the hands in Namaste. Maybe I'll do this sideways just so that it maybe see. So we're going to do a kind of first warrior legs combined with our lion arms. So we're going to start with the hands in Namaste in front of the heart space. Breathe in and draw that front leg up like we've been doing. As we breathe out, the knee's going to come forwards over the foot. We're going to open the arms and we can breathe out with our lion mouth if that feels okay. So forwards, if I do that forward. So breathing in, coming up and back, breathing out. Breathing in, coming up and back, and then breathing in, coming up and back. And then let's do one with crossed arms. So this time we breathe in, come up and back, cross the arms. Notice which arm you've got on top and we'll swap that around. Up and back, and then great, and release. Step the back foot forward. And then we'll do that on the other side. So left foot comes forwards. We start with this rocking through the foot, of lifting the heel, lifting the ball and toes, easing into the sole of that foot. And then finding all 5 toes, spreading the toes, finding all 5 toes, drawing the leg up, which brings it back. If you think about coming up, hands come in front of the heart space, breath is coming in, and then as we breathe out, breathing in and coming up. No, once more like that. And then we're crossing the arms, one over the other. And then cross the other arm over on top. Great, and release. Step the back foot forwards. And then we're going to do a little warrior sequence, I think. So you might want to just have a look. If you want to just have a look to begin with, just so that you see the overall shape, and then I'll actually talk it through. So I'm just going to do it without any talking. I'll just almost just sort of show it, and then we'll talk it through. Okay, so if we can start at the back of our mats, we're doing a little bit of the knee movement, going into warrior one, going into warrior two, and then this backwards warrior, and then coming into stretch flank pose. So just connecting those three together, but we won't do it quite as quickly as that. So we're going to do the right leg first. If you let your hands come to the lower back, that nice diamond shape, let the toes be nice and spread so the feet are alive. Find something to focus on forwards and just above eye level, and take a nice breath in. And then as you breathe out, stepping the right foot forward into that lungy kind of position. Spreading the toes. You might even like to just do this little exercise that we've been doing of the heel and the toes, so that you can just really find that foot on the floor, spreading the toes. And then we're breathing in, drawing that front leg up. Breathing out, knee floats over the front foot, heel. Just a couple of those to sort of oil into the joints. And then next time your knee is over your heel, release the arms. You might like to give them a little shake and a sense of drawing, like you're shrugging your shoulders down. And then next time a breath comes in, there's just this rotating of the arms up, shoulders staying down. And you can look forwards and up. Maybe have a couple of breaths there. Really releasing on the out breath. And the next time you breathe out, can the right arm come forward, left arm come back. You're kind of focusing on something. What do I need to focus on right now? Really opening in the knee, looking forwards over your front fingers. And then there's this kind of opening of the body. So the left hand comes to rest on the left thigh, right arm reaching up into the air. A sense of, yes, I can do this. And then it's almost like we helicopter the other way. So the left arm comes up, right elbow comes to right knee, and I'm turning my right palm facing up, like I'm sort of offering something. And then this left arm is going to come semicircle down, forwards, and up. And then you can turn to look underneath your armpit and really lengthen from your left fingers all the way down to the left foot. Great. Have a couple of breaths there if that feels okay. And then release the left arm down, just let it hang down. We go down through the feet to tip back up. And if we come back to our second warrior, I didn't do this in the demonstration, but it's quite nice to come back to second warrior and then back to first warrior. It's a nice way to come out, and then release the arms down, little swing of the arms. and step the back foot forward like you're springing off. Great. Is that okay? Maybe thumbs up if that was okay. Yeah, okay, great. So if we start the other way, well, I need to start the other way around so you can see. Start at the other end of your mat again. And maybe just have a little shimmy, shake through the body, or a little bounce, sometimes just a little bounce on the spot, just very light bouncing can be helpful. And again, a breath can come in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we can bring the hands back to that diamond shape at the sacrum, sacrum. Take a nice breath in as you're looking forwards and up, and step the left foot forward as the breath flows out. And then just this movement through the left foot, the heel comes up, the ball lifts up. Quite enjoying this movement through the front foot. Brings a kind of opening in the groins for me. And then letting the toes be spread and that foot be really connected to the ground, the inner edge, the outer edge. And we're breathing in, drawing the leg up. Breathing out, releasing the knee forwards. And the weight just going directly down through the space between the two legs. And we're kind of opening the top half. You can look forwards and up even in this bit. Opening the heart. And then next time your knee is over your heel, you can let the arms come down, maybe give them a shake and a kind of shrug down of the shoulders. So that next time the breath comes in, we're just rotating the arm sockets up. Might like to look up at your hands or up, forwards and up. A couple of breaths there, softening on the out breath. And the next time you breathe out, let the left hand come forward, right arm open back. Second warrior, so we've opened our heart, now we're focusing. Do I need to really focus on now in my life, today, this week? Breath there, and then we're going to rotate the arms back so the right hand comes to the back of the right thigh, left arm opens up, and we're opening up this side of the body, a sense of, yeah, I can do this, I got this. Breath in and a breath out. And then it feels like we're kind of helicoptering a little bit the other way. So left elbow comes to left knee, and I don't know why, palm facing up feels nice. And then this right arm is swinging down and up over the ear, turning to look. If this feels too much, the arm going over the head, you could just let the back of the hand come to the mid-back, the back body, and you can still get that twist here. So just whatever feels best for you. Having a breath here, letting the shoulders come back and head extend. Stretch phalanx pose. And then to come out, we're going to bring this right hand down and up behind us to helicopter us back to warrior two. Again, a breath here, just to settle. And then back to warrior one, shoulders releasing. Settling here, letting the arms swing down and stepping ourselves forwards and up. Great. So I wanted to do, what did I want to do? Yeah, let's do I'm going to do cow's face arms. So you can either come to sitting either on a chair or sitting on the floor. I think I'm going to do the sitting on a chair just because I think it's probably easier to see. But make your choice. If you want to sit on the floor, feel free to sit on the floor. And we're just doing the arms. We're not going to do the legs. Great. This is where I might get a bit muddled with my rights and my left. So let's bring the arms out level with the shoulders. And we're going to, so we've got the palms facing down. We're going to turn the right palm so that it's facing back. Palm is facing back. And then we're going to bend the elbow and slide the right arm so it comes out. You can maybe just feel the fingertips out the other side of you. Tucking the right arm in along our lower back. And then the left hand is going to come up into the air, palm is facing forwards. And if you breathe in and reach up as high as you can, and then breathe out and release the shoulder blade like we've done before. And then let that also bend at the elbow, and you'll maybe feel the back of the top of your spine. And then this right hand that's going along the lower back is going to shimmy a little bit up the spine towards the other hand. You might find that you can find your fingers depending on how flexible you are. But if not, just let them rest into the spine, doesn't matter. And we're just going to, a bit like we did at the beginning, breathe and open the elbows. So you can let the elbows be a bit loose initially, and then breathe in and open the elbows away from each other. Breathe out and just release. And kind of opening this, particularly the top one, and releasing. Breathing in and opening the elbows away. Maybe one more. And then release both arms, give them a bit of a shake. Great. And then let's try that on the other side. So we bring both arms out, palms facing down. Turn the left one so that the palm is facing back. Bend the elbow. And then let it slide along your lower back and the fingers come out the other side or towards the other side. And then this right one is going to come up into the air with the palm facing forwards, reaching up as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, then releasing the shoulder blade down. And then that one can bend at the elbow and you can just find your upper back. And then this lower one is going to just find its way up the spine, wriggle it up the spine towards the other one. Fingertips might meet. Don't worry if they don't. And I'm just going to breathe and open the elbows. So let them be soft. This top one can maybe just curl forwards a bit. And then as you breathe in, open them out. And then release. So breathing and opening in the chest. Releasing. Opening as much as you can. One more if that's okay. Great. And then let's release and undo. Give them a nice rotate. It's quite a strong one, that one. Cow's face. And then let's just finish with one symmetrical. So we'll come to the floor to do that. Let's come to the floor. Sorry, a bit up and down. So if you come and sit with your feet out in front of you, And just to finish with something symmetrical from what we've just done, the cow's pose, you're kind of lengthening into your heels, bringing your hands just behind the buttocks, and we're going to rotate on the back onto the palms of the hands, draw the shoulder blades, you're kind of rolling the shoulders over the heels of your hands. So from the sideways. And again, we can move in and out of this, so you can release and just let the body come forwards a bit, and then breathe in, open up, release a little bit, breathe in, spread back, release a little bit. Great. And then let's come to kneeling. So you might want to just have a fold in your mat where your knees would be. And we're going to kneel up, feet in our kind of tram tracks behind us. And we're going to take a nice breath in and step the right foot forward. You can almost have a little bit of a stamp, a bit like a tumultuous toddler. Stamp that front foot forward, and then take a nice breath in and bring the arms up, and then a big breath out. Another little kneeling liar pose, and then take a nice breath in, come to the heart, and this time we're going to cross the arms. Great, and release that knee back to join the other one. Take a nice breath in and stamp the other left foot forward. Breath comes in to bring the arms up, and then a breath out. And then come into the heart. Breath comes in, and then cross the arms the other way. Great. And then to finish this little sequence, if you can tuck the toes under. So we're kneeling up with the toes tucked under, bringing the hands into the heart space. I'm going to start by breathing in, the arms going up, shoulders staying down. As we breathe out, the buttocks move back towards the heels, arms come down and around. And then breathing in brings us up. So I'll do that sideways, out and down and round. Breath comes in to bring us forwards and up. If it's really too much on the toes, you can also do this with flat feet at the back. You just have to go down a bit further. So you can have a play with both. Toes tucked under, toes untucked. But this moving down of the buttocks as the arms come out and down and round. Breath taking us up, out breath taking us back and down. And then to finish this one, if we just come forwards and down into cat pose, it might be nice to stretch out the legs. So if we do a cat curl up, and then as we come to our flat back position, just let the right leg slide out, tuck the toes under, and just lengthen back along the back of that leg. You might like to just lift the left arm off and just give it a little rotate of the wrist in the air. And then let each limb come back in. Curl the spine up with the breath. Uncurl from the tail to the top of the head. Slide the left leg out, tuck the toes, lengthen back along that side, and then right hand can come off. I mean, just rotating the wrist, just a nice loose arm. And then bring the limbs back in, and we'll just do one curl and uncurl on its own without any limbs extending. And then bring your elbows down to where your hands were, so the forearms are on the ground. And we can just do a curl and an uncurl in this position, so curling up in the same way as you breathe in, drawing the belly in, and then uncurling. You're spreading the elbows, spreading the shoulder blades, and you're coming on a more of a diagonal uncurl, not a tabletop. So maybe just see what that's like. Couple of those. Really opens across the shoulder girdle. And then from there you might like to let your toes come together, the knees can open a little bit out to the edge of the mat, and maybe you can sit the buttocks down on the heels or towards the heels and come into a child's pose, perhaps with the arms out in front of you if that feels okay. Otherwise, let your hands come under your forehead so that it can rest. Or you could let your forehead rest on the seat of a chair. So whichever position you're in, forehead resting on something, so the forehead can really let go of its weight, and almost any worries or fears can just melt through the forehead into that surface. And then we can bring our attention to the back of the body, those 3 points that we focused on. So you might like to breathe into the lower back, the tail, the sacred sacrum. Breathe in and out of that place, maybe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then in through this mid-back area. Out through the mouth. Into the space between the shoulder blades at the top. Out through the mouth. And then a couple of breaths into all 3 points. Might be a bit like a wave, waving in, waving out. And then if we come up, we can bring our hands behind us, again to the sacrum. Maybe that diamond shape will find itself at the sacrum. And then a nice breath in, tipping the body back up to kneeling. And then just in this kneeling position, maybe you can just look forwards and up, spreading the elbows out, shoulder blades out, up into the chest. And then release. And let's come to lying. We'll do a little lying twist before we come into relaxation. So just get whatever you need. The seat of a chair, maybe a blanket if it's chilly where you are. And then just whenever you're ready, coming to lying with your arms out level with your shoulders. And then if you can just very gently start to loosen the knees and the hips and the groins, maybe just a little waft from side to side. And then if you let the knees drop over to the right, as far as they'll go, just very loosely, opening up the right side of the body, head rotating to look at the Look at the left arm. Sorry, we're opening up the left-hand side of the body. I got a bit confused there. Knees over to the right, head looking over to the left. Left side of the body more exposed and open. And we're just going to breathe into our hands. So as you breathe in, opening all the fingers to the floor and the thumbs. As you breathe out, releasing the fingers away from the floor. So a small little movement, but quite powerful in and around the chest and the shoulders. This opening of fingers, releasing. And then if you lift, start with the left knee, coming up and over, across to the other side. At some point, the right knee will get carried over with it. And the head can roll over to the right arm to look along the right arm. And again, just breathing into your hands and fingers, opening them with the in-breath, releasing on the out-breath. And then the right knee brings the knees back up to the centre, can give them a little hug and perhaps a little rock. And then lying out, maybe with the chair, the lower legs over the seat of the chair, arms wherever feels comfortable. So that the whole body can be rested, the hands, the arms resting on the ground, the head and the shoulder blades resting, the natural curves of the spine, lower legs resting on the seat of the chair, or the whole legs resting on the ground. And again, you might like to just take 2 or 3 breaths into that whole torso space, lower, middle and upper, now in contact or towards the ground. In through the nose, out through the mouth, so that you can really give permission to that back body to release into the ground. So really letting the body rest. Letting the out breath release the body, soften the body, and seeing if you can follow the out breath, as if you're sliding down a long slide of the out breath, plopping into a little pool, the pause at the end of the out breath. I'm just luxuriating in that space of the pause until the next breath, in-breath, just kind of naturally arises, almost like it grows out of that space, like a new shoot coming up from the ground. And then you can follow the next cycle easily, effortlessly, gently riding those waves of breath. And I'm going to finish with a poem again by Rachel Halstead. Called Stop and Stand. Stop and stand on your own patch of ground where your feet are. Really stand there, all of you, body and mind. From this place comes all your wisdom, comes every answer that is possible for you to know right now. And when you see hurt, hold tight to your sword and know that you cannot fix another. Instead, bear witness with the ground to that other body, to all its found and unfound wisdom. And when you think, I want to take your suffering, just stand. And when you think, I want to take your pain, just stand. And when you think, I cannot bear to stand here, I have to do something, just stand. And if you really must do something, then remember love and breathe it and be it. And let the seams of your soul soften and melt away, so that the boundary between me and you is no longer there, and we are both love and witness to love, ground and standing feet, question and answer. So in this lying pose, feeling the ground as if the back of your body are your feet. Standing there with the back of your body. And hearing the sound of the bowl as it fades into silence. So you may want to stay in Shavasana a bit longer, by all means do so if that's what you feel you need. Otherwise, if you're coming back up to sitting, you might like to wriggle your fingers and toes. Maybe have a little move through the body, a stretch or a wriggle. And then when you're ready, bending up the knees, rolling over to one side and coming up from that side position. So not putting the back, any extra pressure on the back. And then you might like to just bring the hands, palms of the hands together into the heart space. Maybe just feel how the body is now. Breathe into the body as it is now. Thank you. Namaste.